Isn't it funny to me? It's this very strange thing that happens again and again and again, where I'm taking, and you're such a good example of it, Nikki, where what are the things you fear? You fear criticism.
Yes.
You feel someone saying something to you that's going to be hurtful. There's a side of you that just wants to go and probably be in a room where you don't have to deal with anyone who might be unpleasant or hurtful. And what do? You become a stand-up performer and you are out there all the time. That is this weird duality that fascinates me.
Me too.
Because I know it all too well, and I have proof, which is I have a letter I wrote to the author E.B. White in 1980 when I was, 17, 16. And I wrote him this letter, and I said, I'm really interested in writing and trying to creative stuff, but I'm just so afraid of criticism. And then what do? I'll replace Letterman from obscurity. I'm sure though, and I knew, so why do we seek out the thing that we most fear and relive it again and again and again?
Because I think we're trying to prove the thing we think about ourselves wrong. We're trying to, we think we're inherently not really that funny or entertaining or deserving of love, so we are trying to prove that wrong to ourselves by doing the thing that will, if we achieve enough, we'll be convinced of it, which is another paradox because no amount of adoration or acclaim, I can't speak for you, but I always feel like I'm just tricking everyone. Imposter syndrome, which is a common topic for any performer to struggle with, but why? And I think there's something about stand-up for me, though, that it's not interactive. If you listen to my stand-up, I rarely have any kind of lull. I do not like a lull ever. I don't take my time. I'm so scared I'll get heckled. You're not funny. You suck. Like, I used to like you. I had one guy at a show say, I used to like you. I was a fan. Jeez. This sucks. I had a Pence reference during, it was right before the 2020 election, and it just triggered him. So that was what that was. But man, that was my biggest fear. I used to like you.
Who's that excited about Pence?
I know. Either way.
One guy, it's like, you can shit on Trump. You can shit on the Supreme Court. But don't you dare mention Pence.
After Pensy. That
just sets me off. I hate that.
Yeah, I try never to talk about Trump on stage because I don't want to know who likes him, because I don't want to resent any parts of my audience. And so I just don't want to know if I don't hear someone laugh at a certain, so I try not to. But there was just some reference about, I was talking about in high school, I didn't kiss a boy until I was 17. I was a prude. I was scared of boys because my mom told me, my mom's sex talk for me was that if you're ever alone with a boy, they'll rape you, essentially, is what she said to me, just to scare me.
That was her bedtime story. Now, good night. Click. You don't look like you slept much last night, Nikki. What happened?
Because Dad tried to come in and tell me a story after you, Mom. I was terrified of boys. And so I just compared myself to, because it was true, I never was alone with a boy in a room all through high school. I said I was like the Mike Pence of my graduating class. I wouldn't share a room with the opposite sex. And if I did, I would have to go tell mother. And that's all I said. But this guy got up and in the middle of the show, I used to I believed in you. And that was even worse to me than
was it Mike Pence?
I know, I was wondering too.
Was he at the show? I loved you!
He doesn't stand up for anything.
Where's Alf?
Where's Alf? He wants Alf.
I just like Pence likes your early, really dirty stuff. Your hunk about your vagina was fantastic.
Yes.
But what is this? Why did you bring me into it?
It's like, that's why I just am joke. I can't ever have any time where they're just listening to me without a laugh, because I need constant validation. Okay, I still have them. I watch Chappelle or these comedians that can take their time and really just walk you even watching Norm, especially on your show, just being able to just walk you through and have patience with you becoming bored almost.
Yeah, right.
Boy, I can't do that.
The
panic.
The other thing is, I'm going to jump in like I'm your therapist and say,
please.
You're saying you can't do it. You can do it.
Yes.
You can do it. And you aren't funny because you move because you're so well defended. That's not what makes you funny. It's true.
Well, what don't you think that we are funny because we are defending ourselves?
Well, what I'm saying is whatever. I think there are plenty of things that go into the mix, and most of it happened early on. I think the ingredients that anyone needs to be funny usually come fairly early in life, and then they have them. And then their big fear is they're going to lose them. But I've watched so many people who I really admire that have gone through, they've been in fashion, they've been out of fashion, but they're just always really funny to me. They have that great rhythm, and they try different styles. I promise you, as your friend, I promise you, you don't need to change a thing, but you can breathe into it more because you've earned the right. You've been around for a while, and you've paid your dues, and you're really funny, and people know who you are. And yeah, people come and go. I'm sure I've shed fans that liked me in the 90s, and then there are people that I've had people that really have told me pretty much I really wasn't into you at all, but now I like the podcast. And I'm very cruel to them.
You should be. They're wrong. They're wrong.
No. But for whatever reason,
Yeah.
I used to hear something like that, and it was like a poison pill or a thorn under your skin. And then later on, as you go on, you just realize I don't have the energy to hang on to that kind of stuff anymore. Yeah. It's too exhausting. So I do think at this point in your career and in your life, you've earned the right to not be on stage thinking, I've got to get through this so no one screams, you suck.
Yes.
And also, I would point out, if you were doing your set and someone screamed out at you, you suck, and everyone heard it, you would be so funny.
Yes.
It would be the highlight of the show.
Because then the rage comes out.
But also because they're wrong. And you would have fun. The voice that, earlier in my career, someone shouted out, you suck, it had the ring of, well, they might be right. There's a good chance they're right. And that's the terror.
Yes.
But when you know they're wrong, or they're not specific, I would say to someone who yelled at me, I do suck, but in what specific ways?
Yes.
You better have because there are specific ways in which I suck,
Yeah. I think most
I was
of the
kidding.
time you're
There
right.
really aren't.
No, there's a lot.
Why did everyone go with me on that specific?
Yeah, we all really
Should we do a
embrace
list?
that.
No
now?
one saw this, but Gourley just produced a Santa Claus list that unfolded, and it's rolling down 3 flights of stairs and out onto Larchmont Boulevard.
And
It's
then
still going.
People are adding to the list on the street right now. There's a huge
People
line.
have never even
People
met
are
you.
stapling new pieces of paper to it.
Oh my
The
God.
list is now reaching the continent of Asia. It's reached it's gone across the Pacific.
Well, let's get started.
All right, let's go
Like a
through.
CVS receipt.
Yeah, but anyway,
It's a coupon
I'll
at the
come
end
up
of
with
it.
a list of your faults, Conan. When are you going to be done with that? It keeps on scrolling.